Hey, Childfree Wealth listeners. So, what you're finding here is this is a bonus episode, or a series of bonus episodes, technically, where I sit down with Anna from We're Not Kidding and her husband Grant, and we go through financial planning. Like real financial planning, life planning, their numbers, their life. And what you're going to find is they're like a lot of people. That means you might be able to get a little bit about what the process is for being financial planning and kind of tips and tricks. But this is not advice for you. I'm giving them advice, not you. So this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. There's a series of these episodes. So if you like this one, grab the next one. Grant, you look tired. Too much trip?
I always look tired.
No, usually pretty excited for these meetings. Yeah, right.
Yes. Also excited for this. Yeah. No, I'm good. Yeah, it's been a long week. I was just totaling up our vacation food.
And what the total for the trip end up?
About 3,200, which is
I'm good with.
I feel okay about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel pretty okay about that.
Because our budget was $3,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
$200 difference on a trip. Close enough.
Yeah. We had
Awesome.
like some really generous people buy us meals over there unexpectedly. So yeah.
Just random strangers were like, hey, I'll buy you a meal.
I
Yeah,
wish.
no.
No, some people we went over there to meet. So yeah. Yeah, otherwise it could have been a worse
Yes,
budget.
definitely.
Yeah, and I think really my point of that whole exercise is to show you can do it. You
Yeah.
can set a budget for a trip and do it. Even though I'm sure you got sucked into something where you spent a bit more money than you had planned.
Mhm.
What was it? What ended up running up the bill?
We ended up going to a couple, like we didn't anticipate going to Kew Gardens.
Oh yeah.
And so there was like admission for that. We also didn't anticipate going to the Roman Bath Museum.
Oh yeah.
So there was like some admission and then probably some more frequent snacking. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying.
Are you saying Anna's the snack one? I saw that look.
It's
My
true.
wife and I have this big argument. So not really. She's a snacker. She'll like grab like 6 bags of different things. And I'm like, we just had dinner. She goes, yeah, but I need something salty and something chocolate. And I'm like, really? Are you like a 4-year-old? Like, do you, well, I mean, the gummy bears go well with the pretzel. I don't Is that you, Anna?
Yes, I understand her. Yeah.
We went for a day out to the boat and I made meals for her. And I made her strawberries and I put chocolates with them. And she thought I just made her strawberries. She's like, oh, you knew that I'd want something else? I'm like, of course, you want like 7 snack. I didn't have enough room for the other 7. Like, but there is a bag of, like whatever, something random. She's like, oh, okay. Like,
Oh.
so I feel you, Anna. So don't let Grant make it feel bad about the snacks.
No.
The fun part with travel is either like you hit just the right food and all the right drinks and you spend everything, or you're like hunting for stuff. And it sounds like you guys had a good time and found the right things.
Yeah, definitely. It was great.
Awesome. And what was the best thing about the trip?
I think the people we got to meet in person, that a lot of people I've met online and getting to see them in person was pretty incredible.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it was really cool. And
were you able to stay off social media for the whole trip?
Oh yeah, not a problem.
Kind of funny. The world keeps turning, even though, we get all this pressure on us that we have to like feed the content monster and do all this. And no, people are okay when you get back.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
They still miss their Anna fix, but they got there. All right. I've got a couple things on my list, but where do you two want to make sure we go today? I know we're coming out of our trip mindset, so I'm sure there's a few things we need to catch up on. Like, I'm sure the disability insurance didn't get too far.
No, but I did respond to start moving it forward. So I'm glad they followed up. And yeah, so I think that'll progress, but at least it's starting to progress. So yeah.
Good. Did we get our taxes done?
Yes, we got everything submitted. I just followed up with them today just to double check that everything is okay, but yeah, I think everything's okay.
All right. So I'm going to put this on your homework list. You're going to add a copy of your taxes in PDF in Write Capital in the vault. And then next time we'll do a review. What we're looking for is tax planning for next year.
Sure.
Whatever, what you should submit to for like retirement and all that fun stuff. So we'll do a whole separate tax planning thing. We're not doing tax filing. That's already done. It's like, so how do I not get killed next year? And that's try to do some planning around that because your income changed this. Did you get a full year of new income this year?
No, like 8 months.
All right. So we'll have to do some projections, because the more you make, the more you pay.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you guys freak out about your taxes at all?
No, I don't think so. I think it was pretty okay this year. Yeah. Didn't take us too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything seemed to go pretty smoothly.
Did you end up filing married married together or married filing single for last year?
Together.
Okay, so
we've almost always done.
That's what I figured. But Anna, for your marketplace insurance, you're going to have to up your income there because otherwise you're going to get a penalty going forward. So just kind of like put that on your list, because whatever tax break you get will get eaten up. And then they'll come back to you next year and be like, so you made more money. Give me all of
it. Yep.
Just one of those to look at. All right. So we got that. So my big thing on the list was to talk about Anna's business. Do you have any other priorities you want to make sure we talk about?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Yeah.
All right. So Anna, you're going to get to be in the spotlight today. We got Grant last time with the disability insurance and all that. So, kind of like, give me an idea. So we talked about goals and lives touched and all that. Where's your head at with that? And what if I had to I don't like the elevator speech anymore or whatever, but yeah, whatever. If you had to in 15 words or less say what your business exists for, or why it exists, what would you say?
I think at this point, helping people know they're not alone and connect with other child-free people.
Know they're not alone and connect with child-free people. So how do we know? And by the way, I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions and it'll make sense at the end, but so how do we know? How do we track that?
I think I guess the way I've been thinking about it is, podcast downloads or plays, whatever, and then members in the Wink Club community.
Okay. So if I'm just drawing kind of a little chart. So you're saying the Wink Club is actually connecting with people. And then the podcast is more kind of the general information or what?
Yeah.
So if you did the podcast and they never came to the club or never worked with you on anything else, would you keep doing the podcast?
I think so. I think that's, of all the things I do, that's probably my baby.
Grant, you're smiling. What is that? You reacted when she said that was her baby. What was your reaction?
Yeah, I think that is your baby. I think that's become one of your favorite things to do. And I think you get the most feedback from people about the podcast too, probably more than social media posts.
Yeah.
Not as deep as coaching, but yeah, you get a lot of good feedback about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the coaching is essentially a third product, or is that part of the club? Do you look at it? Because
Not.
So part of what I'm trying to do is put a business plan together.
Yeah. Which this is a good time because I'm feeling very like uninspired with a lot of stuff right now.
You just came back from a trip. This is exactly what we would want to talk about.
No. Yeah, the coaching is probably third, and probably if I'm like gonna move away from anything, it might be the first thing to go.
Why?
I guess just feeling less drawn to it right now, or I don't know, just not having the inspiration there.
Okay. So when we go back to like, well, first of all, if we make no money on any of the businesses for the rest of your life, is that okay?
No, it's not.
I mean, I'm trying to not have you focus on the money, but we could do it as a charity, but that doesn't sound like that's your goal.
Right. Mm-mm.
So we're hoping to, I'm making it up, but 3 to 5 years from now to be making enough money that you feel better about it.
Yeah.
I know you have it. So tell me, what's your monetary goal? Do you have a magic number in your head?
Not anymore.
You used to.
I know if I could, like, I don't know, make 30 grand this year, I'd be happy. Like, I don't know. I'm feeling sort of like a failure recently.
Why?
I guess a failure in a business sense. Like, I don't think I'm a good business person. And so I've been wondering if it's even worth trying to do my own thing anymore, if it's time to just get a 9 to 5.
Okay. So I'm not going to let that go by without digging. Like Grant's like, oh boy, this one, you just served it up on a platter. All right. So so we've been, I don't know, 6, 7 months, because we took a month off in there. 7, 8 months we've been talking together. And when we first met, you were more about the money. Then you became more about the mission. And now you're like, let me go work a 9 to 5. What did I miss there?
I don't know that you missed anything. This is welcome to me.
So I'm just going to pull this part. Financially, we don't need the money from a 9 to 5.
I'm so certain. I feel like I do.
Where? You're debt free. We're making the budget. We're getting our goals. We just got back from paying a trip. No problem.
I guess I still sometimes see Grant having a hard time at work and just wishing, well, it's partly that, like, wishing he could have an out if he needed it, but it's also like sometimes just realizing how royally screwed I'd be if anything happened to him, and like, just, I don't know, wanting to have enough of an income where, like, if worst case scenario happens, I'm not screwed.
Okay. So first of all, that's what disability is for. That's one option. We also have life insurance. The one thing we can't, insure is, hey, a divorce or something along those lines. But when you say, hey, something happened, I'm screwed, what do you see as the likely events?
Well, I mean, it's always in the back. I lost my dad when I was 9. So I'm always like, oh, well, death is a very possible reality. And just thinking, like, what would I do if the worst happened? And I mean, I just, like, I would go get a 9 to 5. I'd have to, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's where my mind's been.
Okay. So one option, just play with me for a second. We get $1 to $2 million of life insurance on Grant. And as long as you manage that well, you'll never have to work a day in your life. By the way, Grant, one worry, then she just knocks you off and, like, but, no, but I mean, if that is that, so for child-free people, I very rarely say, hey, life insurance, but if it's a fear that's going to bother you, if I can pay some silly amount, because it's really not that expensive. I mean, we have like 6 life insurance quotes. We can go back to the ones from, but I think we have some better options. But if that's that big of a fear, we insure it.
I don't know that. Yeah. Probably not necessary, but.
Well, no, it's not a question of if it's necessary or not.
It's not that big a fear. It's just, I don't know. I think I'm just, as an entrepreneur, in a low point with things. So
that's why I'm pulling them apart. So this is the old facts of your friends. And as entrepreneurs, we're all over the place. Great month, worst, but so my personal, I had clients that were back from my coaching days that were paying less. And in March, I had given them 6 months notice. I'm like, either come to my full rate or I'm not gonna be able to stay. I'll tell you, as an entrepreneur, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
that's 5 clients that are gone. But I know it's right for my business. That's normal. Now, here's the thing. We all get that. I've done the math myself. I could go work for a financial planning firm. I wouldn't get to work with child-free folks, but I could go work for one tomorrow and make more money than I'm making now. And I'd have to give up some of my core beliefs, but I could make more money.
Yeah.
Should I?
Well, I don't think so, but that's your call.
I mean, but what happens is as soon as I flipped it, you said, you don't think so. But when I say you shouldn't get a 9 to 5, you're like, oh, but maybe I should.
Yeah.
What I'm guessing happened is you've gotten past the sexy part of owning a business, the fun of starting one. I got a new idea. I want to get, and then you get into oh, I actually have to run a business. Is that where you're at?
I think I feel like I've been there already, but I think it's like that hasn't, I don't know, I just don't feel like I'm a good business person. I just want to do things for free. I don't feel good charging money. And I thought that after this long, yes, I charge for the coaching, but apart from that, everything else is practically free. Wink Club there's some tiny membership that most people don't opt into anymore. And it's just I just feel like I'm a mess when it comes to trying to earn money for myself. So maybe I should just go do it for someone else.
That's fair. So what you're saying is, let me take the easy road out.
Yeah.
And the question is, what would you have to give up to do that?
What I've built I could theoretically probably keep some of the stuff going, like the podcast could keep going. And maybe Wink could keep going with a little less hands-on from me. But I'm still funding it. I have to pay to keep that community open. So, and yeah, some freedom, definitely a lot of freedom would have to be given up.
Okay. And there's some mission given up.
Yeah.
You'd be working each day to, so let's play with this. What would you do if you picked up a 9 to 5 job?
I don't know. The recent thought has been see if the post office is hiring and get a walking route so I could listen to podcasts and deliver mail. Sounds great.
Okay, so we're going to go work for the post office. Making about what?
$15 an hour. I
I was going to say somewhere around 30 to 40,000 a year. Okay. So the question is giving up on your passion and your mission worth 40,000 a year?
Mm. Maybe, or maybe I'm not as passionate about it as I used to be. I don't know.
So I'm going to call you on this. You're just as passionate about the cause, right? That hasn't changed. You're touching people's lives. I mean, I've seen the stuff you've done and the comments, and when they gave you that feedback, I mean, you lit up on how you're impacting people's lives, right? So if we can make money doing that, that'd be the best thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Your passion may have waned on the running the business side, which I hear you on that. I don't have any issues with that. But your passion hasn't waned on the mission.
Okay, yeah.
What happens is we often, like, by the way, I've had those moments too where I'm like, I should just quit my job and go work for somebody. It'd be a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
But then you lose the mission.
Right.
Grant, what do you think Anna should do?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I hate to think about, and every time this comes up, I always say I hate to think of you having to give up what you're doing right now. I know that like money isn't important. I feel like the money is less important than like the feeling of like independence and like some kind of like financial success to kind of like, I don't know. It's just I feel like the financial metric is like easier or more like acceptable or just like I don't know. I feel like that's the way that so many people measure success, that I think you also feel like you want that metric of success as well, even though you have these other things that are more important to you when we sit and think about it. So yeah. But I know that I know the financial stuff weighs on you. I also know that the feeling of like, you need to do something to back me up is important to you, but that's also just you that feels that way.
We talked a while back about this concept of the gardener and the rose. The hard part for the rose is like, there's always these moments. My wife and I have had these discussions frequently, even recently. Like, I just want to stop being the rose and like, let's trade.
Mhm.
And my answer to her is, and I'm a little bit nicer to you guys. My answer to her is no. She's like, but I'm like, no, you can't give up. And frankly, that's what Grant just said to you in a lot nicer language. Is that not your message in the bottom line?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I want you to hear that, Anna. I mean, by the way, if we want to solve for fears of him leaving or leaving the earth and whatever it is, we can solve that. But what happens is we can also solve, how do we make a business? Where do you want to put your effort?
How to make a business.
Okay. And if your business made 30 grand a year, you would stop thinking about the 9 to 5?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go backwards. Grab my calculator here. All right. Let me see here. How much are you charging for coaching?
I think 110 a session. So yeah.
For about an hour?
Yes.
Okay. I was going to go with 100 and quarter, but we'll go with 110. By the way, one of the challenges is to find the sweet spot between how much you make per hour and how many hours you have to work. That it's just a math equation. The hard part is monetizing a podcast is nearly impossible unless you're selling something else. That's why people do coaching, courses, products. Because unfortunately, advertising on podcasts just not there. You know,
Yeah.
do you have an idea of what's your average first week audience for the podcast?
So like how many plays something gets in the first week of release?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about 450.
Okay. So that puts you in about the top 5 to 10% of podcasts. So if you have 117 downloads, this is per Buzzsprout, 117 downloads in the first 7 weeks, that puts you in the top 25% of podcasts. Now, to monetize it, you got to be talking, thousands.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to serve a small niche, which, hey, we're both in Childfree, I can have a separate argument. It's not a small niche, but we are serving a niche population.
Yes.
The only thing we can argue on whether it's niche or niche, but I'm going to use niche because the way it said is riches are in the niches, and I can't say riches are in the niches. So like you're serving a niche population. The question is, how do I provide a niche service to them? And how many people do I need to do that for? So is your coaching, is it one and done? Or are we doing multiple sessions with each person? Kind of.
Yeah, usually, not usually. Yeah, it is 8 weeks.
Okay. So we're doing 8 sessions. So are we giving a discount on that, or is it $880 for the?
It's $880. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So we need 34 clients in a year to do that. So we need to. So in order to do that, you have to convert, I don't know, less than 10% of each of the first week's listeners. Now, the reality check is you got 450 people listening to one episode. You probably have an audience that's almost double that.
Mm-hmm.
So if I looked at one of your episodes from 6 months ago, got over 1,000 listens.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So we're now converting 2-3% of the people that listen to coaching. And you would have a business. Now, do you advertise coaching every session? Every podcast? Cool. How do people know that you're a coach? Because they're watching this.
Yes. I used to have an ad about it in some of the episodes, but I think I was starting to feel like maybe I didn't want to continue that. So yeah, I didn't keep putting it in.
So if we don't want to do coaching, we got to figure out a different way to monetize it.
Yeah.
What was your other thought?
Making Wink Club a steady income.
Cool. So now we go into community building. What are you charging per month for the community or per year?
Right now it's set to, there's a level you can join for free. If you opt into the membership level, it is $5 a month.
Okay. Where'd you come up with that?
It just, the air.
So we would have to, so you're getting $60 a year out of people.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need 500 people to make that business worthwhile.
Yeah. Don't even have that many in the free level. So.
Well, no, we can do either or we can do both. So, or we can do some other completely different. By the way, don't try to do merchandising. Like people are like, oh, I'm going to sell child-free shirts. And you'll make like $4. Like,
Yep, I tried. I did that.
I figured, but I just got to throw it out there. It is just, that is not an answer. The other one that some people do with podcasts is exclusive content for a fee. Have you tried that one?
No, I've toyed with that idea, but I haven't done that.
Okay. The other one we can do is the old buy me a cup of coffee. You know, the sponsor me on whatever. There's 6 different whatever softwares you want, you know. Then there's literally one called Buy Me a Cup of Coffee, where literally you just ask, hey, give me a donation for my podcast.
Oh. Well, that sounds harmless to try.
But when it's harmless to try, that's not a business plan.
I see your point.
You see where I'm going with this. So
Yeah.
the podcast is what you enjoy. It's, going well. Social media, I'm assuming the social media associated with that is all part of the podcast picture. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Cool. So an option is you could take advertisement. You want to do that?
I mean, I'm not closed off to that, but not really, I guess. I'm like, I'm not passionate about, but
How many people are on your social media, like your biggest account?
my following is I think it's at like 6,800, so almost 7.
So I don't know. I'd have to look at today's rates, but $50 for a post. It's kind of like probably where you're going to get at. You're under 10,000, so that start, and then the engagement starts going in there. So we can do $50 a post, but we got to do a lot of posts.
Yeah.
No, huh?
No.
By the way, I'll tell you, as somebody that markets the child free community, I tried paying people to post on it, and like it's not worth it for anybody. Because now I would need to translate that to the customers and all that. The audience is just too small. I pay you $50 for a post. I need to X amount of them need to translate into a customer.
Right.
And if they don't, I'm gonna disappear. People see like people on Instagram famous, and they're making millions. That's because they have 1 million followers.
Right.
Most people don't. So if you're going to make money off it, we can look at writing a book. That's a lot of work. By the way, doesn't pay a lot of money either, unless it goes crazy. My first book, I self-published. I don't know, I got 1,200, 1,500 copies out of it, between what I gave away and made, but I haven't made money on it yet. But I make money because people come as clients. So this is the thing where we can either convert them into coaching clients or community clients or something else. That's where that works. It's the technical term. That's how they get access to Anna. That's how they're paying for the next step. So the question is, well, all right, reality check. What do you want to put your time and effort into for them to get access to you?
I don't know. I think I get I think I get blocked even like thinking about what's possible because I like, yes, I'm a coach but like I also am like, well, what do I have to offer? Like aside from coaching, I don't know what the value and how to like, yeah, I get like the book is a product. If I wrote something as a step in to have access, but I don't know.
So let's play this a different way. So you've coached people before.
Mm.
Have you seen their lives change?
Yeah.
That's not worth $110 an hour.
No, it is. It is.
The hard part of this is whenever you ask somebody to put a number on what their worth is, it just sucks. Like there's like, you're like, if I go to a job, they put a number on it and I'm like, I'll take the job or not.
Right.
But I worked with somebody who, he was actually a fitness guy, and it shall remain nameless because he's actually a pretty big name now. And he was like, I don't love doing one-on-one coaching. He said, I love doing classes. Okay. So he started doubling his coaching rate. So he went from $250 to $500 an hour. Had a bunch of clients. Went from 500 to 1,000, got more clients. 1,000 to 2,000, got more clients. He now coaches some very large names that you would recognize in the sports industry, and just kept doubling his rate and got more clients. You see, the challenge is you set your value, and then the appropriate clients find you. Who's the audience you want to serve? Tell me kind of like what they look like, what they are, who they call it an avatar, but what is that person?
I haven't done this in a while.
That's why I'm bringing it back.
I think now, and I'm trying not to be like, think of like who, just base it off of the people I have helped and really focus on who I want to help.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is people who like women who are child free and are just looking for like, part of what I love doing with people is seeing what's possible, because this life choice or lifestyle is still taboo, right? So working and like seeing their mind expand into, areas they hadn't even entertained before, of what life can look like. I think that's what I love. So people who need that.
Okay. The way I call that, and let's just see if we're on the same page, is writing their own life plan or their own life script. Throwing away the existing one and writing their own.
Yeah.
Okay. Single women or married women?
And I have to pick to be more specific. Is that the idea?
If you're going to pick both, we got to hard everything in marketing.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, the needs of a single woman is going to be different than the needs of a couple or married.
I guess for this, married, because that's also my experience. So it's probably where my head and experience is as well. So
what age range?
30s.
Okay. So we're looking for 30-ish-year-old women. You're going to actually want to convince me. You're going to try to convince me for both single and married, but we'll go with it for a second. Who are envisioning a new life. Okay. So what I do is called life and financial planning. I do some financial stuff to go with it too, but I do that. I charge $300 an hour. Why is my rate 3 times yours?
As you probably have more experience and expertise.
We have different experience. You see, what? By the way, people come to me for financial planning, and they're staying more for life planning. Is kind of the reality check of it. But it's not a problem to find clients if that's what you want to do. And we know you can successfully do it, and you have. Both on your platform and one-on-one. So to say to somebody, hey, spend $1,000 with me for the next 2 months, and we will create a life plan together for you that envisions your life, your new life without children. Would you sign up for that program?
Yeah.
I know you can teach that program. You already do. And if they struggle at all, I know you have the contacts to find the right person to help them. All the different people you've talked on the podcast and all that, right?
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of resources that you know of that they may not know of, right? Cool. So why don't we set up an 8-week program defining your new life or defining your life plan? Which, by the way, could have group sessions, it could have individual sessions, it could have all that. But where your job is to help people think through what are the options? What do I want? What brings me happiness? Where do I want to go? How do I get away from the standard life plan? How do I get away from societal pressures? How do I get away from my parents saying I should, all the stuff that you and I know in and out.
Yeah.
$1,000 and we'll figure out a plan for you.
That sounds good.
By the way, I only take 3 clients a month. By the way, there's going to be some overlap, but
Yeah.
I have 3 spots for the month of May. You want one? What's wrong with that?
Nothing. That sounds good. I like it.
Here's the thing. Grant, I don't know if you noticed it, but that lit a spark again in Yana. All I did was repackage what you do. I did the old Black Friday sales. You mark it up 50%, $50 and cut it in half, and it's 50% off because now it's $25. Like, same product on Wednesday, but it's on sale.
Yeah.
Now your argument is cool. And by the way, yeah, the science says, 990 or some stupid, random numbers, less than 1,000. I don't try to sell people. My package is $500 a month. If you want it $499, I don't care. It's $500. Like I'm not playing the marketing games. But if you said to people, hey, I take on 3 clients a month, want 1 spot. You're telling me out of 450 people that listen weekly, you can't find 3 people? And the bonus is if you set it up that way, you can talk about, here's what we're going to do in the first meeting, second, in general, you can make a nice journal to go with it, an online course, structure. I'm going to take you through this over the next 2 months or 8 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that something that gets you excited?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you still want to go work at the post office?
No, not really.
It's just a re-envisioning of what you're passionate about.
Yeah. Thank you.
And by the way, not too hard to run that business. Your costs are, some processing, a little bit, I can get you set up. I can show you like the learning structure LMS that I use, that you put the course in there if you want or whatever. But you package it as, your life plan guide, $1,000 intensive program. Maybe the other way people like you, it's a boot camp. We're going to dive deep over 8 weeks. And we're going to, it's like the CrossFit boot camps. You know what I'm talking about,
Yep.
People like those. I don't happen to use that model with my structure, but it works.
Yeah.
Do a life plan boot camp. Now you get excited. Now here's the thing: running the business, we'll come back to it, but simple profit and loss, but you don't have much expenses. It's really your time. Your goal now is to market to pick up 3 clients each month. Now, by the way, first 6 months, you're going to get 1 or 2 clients, but that's okay because those will refer other clients.
Yeah.
And there's some science behind we're only taking 3 people. Now, by the way, I want you to keep this in mind. We're actually going to end up with 6 clients you're mentoring over 2 months because they're going to run over.
Right. Yeah.
But I got 6 people that I'm intensive with. I've got 3 new slots starting in July. And then people go, well, will you take a 4th? No, there's a waiting list. By the way, that actually helps for marketing too. You know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people are on your email list?
I don't really have an email list.
Okay, so we need to work on that. Well, no, I mean, it's just, you want to be able to. So we're constantly putting out articles saying, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is what my podcast was. This is what, because people still use email.
Right.
I know it sounds weird. But, so you got 4, you put out podcasts every week.
Yeah.
So over a month, 2,000 downloads ish.
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Okay. So we have to convert 1.5%.
Okay.
Like, that's nobody. Grant, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. And I think, yeah, it's a good to, yeah, I think it's good to have feedback too. And I think that one of the things that you really like is being able to talk through ideas instead of just thinking about them. I think it really helps you to talk to other people and get feedback. And yeah, this feels like, yeah, kind of what you needed at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk about actually making this happen. So by the end of April, which is a week from now, you need to have the package up on your website.
Okay.
Which it's not going to take anything. Like you could do that in a day. You'll probably procrastinate around it and tinker with it for more, but right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're calling it's called an MVP, minimum viable product. We just got to get the product out there.
Okay.
So, all right, end of April. So for May 1st, we have the webpage up. That means for the month of May, well, first of all, for your podcast episodes that are coming out in May, we're going to have to add a advertisement in there.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the best effort on that is one in the middle, one in the end.
Okay.
Because listeners. And I'm assuming you have those recorded or somewhere near there for May, or we got to record them still?
Still got to record them.
All right. So we can make some simple bumpers. Hey, I'm going to start taking on 3 clients a month for a, whatever, Anna's life-changing plan. We'll come up with some better name that you'll figure out that's nicer. Find out more information here. Boom. limited to 3. And that limited 3 is going to be everywhere because A, you don't want more than that. And B, that's enough to make your business worthwhile. And a little exclusivity actually helps you. So are you going to do like a free intro meeting, or do you want to have people just sign up for the product?
I guess I have no problem doing a free intro meeting, but probably do a very 15-minute one. Usually
Or don't.
Okay. That
You're an
sounds
established
nice.
enough brand in the area that, by the way, the page should have a reel from you essentially saying, and this is what it looks like, and this is what,
Right. Okay.
I do free intro meetings because nobody knows what it's like to work with a financial planner. If you say, hey, this is what we're working on over the next 8 weeks, it's a little bit easier sale than what I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
It's a different product. So, okay, cool. So now, once a week ish, on on all your socials, hey, and I'd love you to say, I got 2 spots left, I got 1 spot left, and send them to the links. And if you did that, you're reaching whatever 8,000 people. Add the plays to the social media, 6,000 to 8,000 people over the next couple of months. You'll get 1 to 2 signups. You need a couple so you can start testing out the product.
Right.
And it won't be perfect. That's okay. And then you're going to ask for referrals, and you're going to ask for people to testimonials and all that. We can do that later. But the whole point is, you start this product in 7 days. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Is anything going to get in your way for that?
No, I don't think so.
And by the way, maybe I would consider for you doing a podcast episode of, hey, I've struggled with the best way to help people. Here's what I want to do. Here's where I'm going to go. And I think people like to see people struggling and figuring it out. The Dave Ramsey world in their coaching, the way they say is, can you coach somebody while you're still getting out of debt? And they say, well, if you're a mess, that makes you a messenger. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to agree with him on everything else, but I'm like, that sounds pretty good. Like, it's that transparency.
Yeah.
By the way, the other thing is the data always says coaches need coaches. We have a little inception problem. Coaches need coaches and coaches and coaches. We all have them.
Yeah.
But, you could be honest and say, hey, Dr. J kicked me in the butt and I'm repackaging, restarting, and here's where we're going. And now people go, oh, okay. And they already love you. We know that. Now here's their chance to work with you.
Yeah.
And by the way, do not come back to me and say, I had 5 people who want to sign up in May. Well, then 2 go into August or April. June, July, whatever. They're going later. Because you only need 3.
Right.
If you get too many, it's going to take you away from the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'm excited to sit down and try and plot out each week and get this going.
By the way, whatever you come up with first, you'll change it. That's okay. This is version 1.0. Version 2.0 will probably be in about 4 months. Like, we get half a dozen clients through it. We're going, yep, this goes first, that goes second.
Yeah.
And by the way, you have enough other content and podcasts where you can go, okay, here is where that, listen to this on this week. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's just like I send you homework after every meeting. They should have a homework each week. And you've got enough content, so I'm not worried about that. And you can use other people's content. Hey, I heard this on whatever. And, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you said, hey, I'm not great at the business stuff. But all this you're great at, right? This is the business stuff. What do you think, Grant?
Yeah, I think this is good. I think, yeah, it's really good to have like a rough direction laid out. Yeah, it's really good.
What questions do you have?
How much do you charge for business coaching?
So, fun one to this one. I don't have the exact number, but let's go with a third of my clients are small businesses. So what happens though? I believe, and I'm looking for that. I believe child-free people are more likely to start their own business because they can.
Yeah.
But you are exactly where like it gets mixed, like smushed together about, well, what about my personal finance? But see, just kind of draw back the curtain for a second. Here's what I did. We took care of your debt, got you on a budget, found a budget. We even were able to do a budget on a trip, got disability insurance working. Financially, you're good. Now let's figure out a business. Because that's what you said your passion was. Because if I had asked you too many questions about the business 4 meetings ago, you would have went to the post office. Like, we need the money. I got rid of that excuse. Now, where do you want to go?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And what happens, and this is what I end up doing, is people come in with an idea. So I had somebody who wanted to do a business of decorated flower pots. I know nothing about that, but I know how to run a business. So I can teach them how to run a business, and they can do their flower pot. I had another that's becoming an author. I have another that's starting financial. I had 2 or 3 coaching type different ways, writers and different things. Just figured out. I had a music teacher. I had all of them type. Running a business is the same. But what happens with all of them is they're really good at their skills. So the music teacher is really good at being a music teacher. That doesn't mean they're good at marketing, business structure, billing, all that. So I teach them that as it goes through their personal.
Yeah.
I didn't actually make any of your product. All I did was hold a mirror up to it. Seriously.
Yeah.
I asked you a bunch of questions, and it looked like you were going to like throw something at me in the middle. Grant, did you feel that moment? Like she was like hating the world for a minute there?
Yeah, I could feel it was
like Grant even reached out and like, are you okay? I brought you back around eventually, but I'm like, let's look through the dirt and the excuses we tell each other, because we all tell our own excuses. This is the core of imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough. They don't want to. Okay. Acknowledge all that and just keep going. And that's where it becomes a challenge. It's just getting you through it. And then, okay, let me go help people.
Yeah.
Don't let the degrees and all that other stuff get in your way. They're buying Anna. They're not buying anything else. We will have a separate discussion at some point that your rate's too low. But so I used to charge $250 a month for my package. And in January of 2022, I doubled to $500 a month. Same amount of hours. People stopped fighting me on their pricing. Because if they couldn't afford it, they just wouldn't follow up, wouldn't contact me. And that's okay. I can't serve everybody.
Right.
I can only serve 50 clients. That's it. My price is this. This is what I can serve. And that's the hard part, is there's a client at every price point. You just have to figure out who you want to serve. That's why I asked you the question of who you're serving. And you said 30-year-olds. 30-year-olds, let's be real, don't have a lot of money. So we had to go a little lower in the pricing. But still, we're probably not as high as we should be.
Okay.
Now you may not feel that. Like if I told you, hey, $2,500 for your package, you would like strangle me. But it's probably worth that. And give me 2 or 3 years and you'll be there. Now, a couple questions, kind of just run it through. So is this going to be launched by May 1st?
As in clients would start then, or?
You got a web page set up that says how to sign up and what the course is, and we're advertising it.
Yeah. Yes, I can do that.
Now, remember, you can't hide it from me because you're posting it publicly. So, and you got Grant over there that can be like poking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. The hardest part is the first step. Getting a product out there. And then people will tell you, you'll get some people, oh, it's too much. I'm sorry. You can join the club. It's $5 a month. That's a group thing. You want the individual? Here it is. I offer a self-directed product for $50 a month, and that includes group Q&A. You want the one-on-one? Mine's $500 a month. They're like, well, can you charge less? No. I apologize. If you want, I've even had people email me, say, hey, can I get it for less? And my answer is, here's a list of other providers, and maybe somebody charges a lower price. They're not going to get the same expertise or the same, my stuff is very specialized. I have a specific skill set, and if you can afford it, you can. If you can't, I apologize. I do some freebies pro bono, to help people throughout the year, but that's it. My price is my price. Well, it's going to be the same for you. Your price is your price. By the way, don't let somebody will complain. Ignore them, because somebody else will buy it.
Right.
And it may take a couple months for the first purchase, but that's okay, because you got to at least launch it and say it's here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You feeling good about it?
Yeah.
And Grant, if she ever mentions going to work at the post office again,
I usually shake my head, I think.
my wife, I always use the example of people want to open a cupcake shop. That's her. She's like, when she hates her job, she's like, I'm just going to go open a cupcake shop. She's a great baker, but I'm like, first of all, you're going to make nothing. And you got a PhD and you're a college professor. You don't go create a cupcake shop just because of politics at work. Like,
I really do understand your wife. That's my other business idea.
I mean, if that's your passion, I'll support you and, we'll open the cupcake shop. But that's not what you told me.
Right.
It's just, one day you're going to meet my wife. You're going to be like, he told me all these stories about you. I'm going to be in trouble. Good thing this isn't recorded or anything.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, the other day she was like, did you really tell that story? And I'm like, yes, I did. But, all right. So May 1st, launch the product, start advertising it May 1st. Set your goal that by the end of the year, you're full at 3 each month. Would that be a success?
Yeah.
Gives you a 7-month run to fill up, and by the way, when I say full, I mean 1 month we get to 3.
Right. Yes.
Next month it might be 2, but we're going to party at 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Because unfortunately, nature of the beast, financial January is jamming for me because everybody's like, start a diet and want to work on their finances.
Yeah. Right.
For some reason, over the summer, they don't. I don't know. But
yeah.
That's going to be the same type of thing for you. So the goal is, by the end of the year, 3. The other thing we're going to work on next time, we're going to work on what we call leading and lagging indicators. So how do we track if you're making progress to those goals, where we're going, how we're going to track it, other avenues for marketing, things like that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. The other one on the homework, 2 things. Grant's working on the paperwork for the disability and then uploading your taxes, PDF for your taxes. Keep in mind, by the way, the PDF for your taxes, you should always keep in some type of folder somewhere because you're required to keep that for 3 to 7 years. So I just put it all in a folder, secure storage, and that is, but we'll do a little tax review also.
Okay, cool.
That's all for this week's episode of Childfree Wealth Podcast. Be sure to follow Childfree Wealth on social media, email us at podcast@childfreewealth.com, or visit our website, www.childfreewealth.com.